Second. Okay, I got it. We're recording now, Tyson. I got it.
Perfect.
All right. You have to do some editing here at the beginning.
No worries.
Real quick, just some housekeeping. Shane, as we did through the Q&A at the beginning of the podcast, we'll probably repeat some of that stuff, have you introduce yourself again, because there'll be two separate recordings that Tyson will put out there. So there'll be a couple questions that'll be redundant, but then we'll get into it real quick. So, all right, everybody, Six Pack Dad Tribe podcast. We're here with Shane Hoyt, who has had some remarkable progress in his first 5 months, losing 50 pounds. Shane, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and let everyone know where you started and where you're at today.
Okay, Shane Hoyt. I started in February. It was 268 when I started, and today I'm about 216, 215, right in there. So it's been a journey. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, that is a huge delta. To go from 268 to 215 in 5 months is really, really remarkable. And other than obviously your clothes are fitting better, what is the biggest thing you've noticed about the physical change?
Well, I don't track my blood pressure real close, but I don't have high blood pressure. I don't take the pills anymore for it. I used to be on medication and I don't. So that's been a huge benefit for me, is that my blood pressure has come back down to where it's very manageable, not high anymore. And just having more energy definitely can feel that I just feel able to do more stuff.
Have you checked your blood pressure? Is this just something you're feeling that your blood pressure is under control?
Yeah, I'm feeling that it is. I mean, I don't have those, I used to be able to feel when it was high.
Absolutely. Being on heart meds, I can tell those days if I forget them or if something's out of whack, physically, there's really a big difference in how you feel. So that's great to hear that you're noticing a real physical manifestation of the changes in a positive way versus just the visual, just the fat loss. And I point that out because this is a whole body wellness. The program that we're involved in is not just shedding fat off your body. It's creating sustainability and whole body wellness. So the fact that was one of the first things you brought up, I really appreciate that, because a lot of guys ignore the fact that the things that they can't see are being affected as much as what we do see in the mirror, and that there's multiple kind of a domino effect of what happens with, I'm sure if you checked your cholesterol too, that would be better than when you were at 268. So there's a lot of benefit.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to say, some people do have high blood pressure, some people have high cholesterol, but in general, if you can control your weight and your nutrition, those things seem to be balanced and in check. And I don't think there's too many doctors that disagree that weight and high blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes all go hand in hand. And so this is a great way. Dropping 50 pounds, that's the best medicine you could have given yourself over the last 5 months.
For sure. Yeah.
When you started this, other than just feeling better, losing weight, was there a particular goal you set for yourself? Was there something out there like, I've got this suit hanging in the closet I haven't worn for 6 or 7 years and I want to get back into it, or any kind of personal goals like that you really were shooting for?
Yeah, I mean, long term, and I just pulled a number out of the air, but I want to be about 195. I want to get below 200, and okay. I'm not there yet, and I'm still pushing. And I had a suit that I wanted to fit in, and I fit in it. It's nice. It's nice to wear it.
Yeah, it is. And that's something we've talked about too. That's why I brought that up in particular, is having these visual cues. We all have a pair of pants that's still hanging in the closet that's too snug, or that shirt that we really like that's too snug or doesn't fit us the way we like it to right now. And we want to get back to those things, and pulling that stuff out so visually you see those cues and those reminders of, yeah, that's why that's why it may seem silly to some people, but it's a visual reminder and a motivator to us to see that kind of stuff and know I've got that pair. I mean, you don't do that with shoes. Your shoes always fit. It's the other things that, those suits and the shirts and even if it's a casual shirt or a t-shirt that we really liked, and then suddenly it's not fitting right. So that was a great goal for yourself to have that, those type of visual reminders there. What kind of support, Shane, have you felt you've had from your family? I know that in chatting, you said you've had, you work out with your son, and he's been a big motivator, big help to you. But in general, how has the overall support? Did you get any pushback about changing foods or maybe eating different on certain meals from the rest of the family periodically?
No, and I think that, halfway through this journey, my wife's like, you know what, I've got to cut back, and she wanted to lose some weight, and so she's really, I mean, when she cooks food or whatever, it's definitely a lot leaner choices and not as much, and really cutting back on the quantity and making the quality better has helped. And and yeah, having that support from my son pushing me, every day, because he's always, when I get home, he's there. He's like, "Come on, man, let's go, let's go, let's go." He's got more energy than, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so it definitely that's been a huge help to me, because like there's some days that you come home and it's like I don't have it in me, and when he's sitting there waiting for you, you can't break his heart and be like, "I'm not going."
That's right.
And he's the type of personality. He's like, "You're not gonna sit on your butt, Dad. We're going. Get on your bike." So he's been a huge success for me, and seeing him get excited about it and whatever. Because another thing that's really pushed me is my dad's had diabetes for about 25 years, and he watched his mom go through that back when you used to stick yourself with a needle each day to where her skin became so thin like paper she couldn't even give herself a shot anymore. And so when he talked to us at a family reunion probably 7 years ago, he's like, you got to be careful, because you eat this sugar all the time, and it's like it tears your body up.
Yeah.
So thinking about that and knowing that goes hand in hand with being overweight, being, and having that diabetes on both sides of the family, that was a big driver for me too.
Yeah, that's I won't ever say that it's good to have those type of examples in your family, because it can be rough, but it is also one of those wake up calls too, for people to see that there really is devastating effects to being unhealthy. And the program that Tyson designed was really to combat exactly that for those guys of us that have let it slide a little bit. We're all smart, intelligent, professional people, yet we can't figure out how to eat and be healthy, on a regular basis. And that's what this program's done for a lot of guys, and obviously for yourself as well. What is one of a goal that you have still out there? I know you want to get down to 195, but there are other overarching goals with this that you want to see yourself achieve. You talk about pushing yourself and seeing how far you can go with this. Is it just weight loss that you're looking for, or is there another physical goal out there that you're trying to achieve as well?
So originally that was the only goal, was to lose weight. But as I am where I'm at now, I'd really like to tone more and then be able to do some off-road biking with my son. Some difficult trails and stuff. And so conditioning myself for that and getting in shape, and that's probably my next big goal is to work on those and getting some more definition in my shape instead of just losing some weight.
Right. Well, mountain biking is a good exercise, and I know we've got some challenging trails around here. And if you're going to try to keep up with your son and doing that, you've got some conditioning you, you got to do, because
Well,
some of those trips.
at first I had an advantage because he had an old junker bike, and I got a pretty nice mountain bike. And so with my weight and everything, it just sort of propelled me past him. And then now, he saved up and bought him a nicer bike, and its timing was great because I was able to at least stay up with him. And so it's interesting to see how, little things have just propelled me and kept me going. But the greatest thing about being a part of the tribe is that it made this program work for my lifestyle and for the short time that I have to exercise or to commit to it. And without that, I wouldn't have the success that I've had today.
Yeah, and it is nice because this is a program that you can work around your lifestyle. You don't have to be a gym rat. You talked about not liking, you're not a gym person to go in and do that. So being able to find these activities that are working for you and your time frame and your schedule and working with your family, all that kind of stuff, that's what's unique about this. It's very easy to massage it into a workable program for you, and you've made the most of it. I know Tyson and I check in with you periodically and just make sure that you're doing all right, you don't have any questions, and you have really taken the bull by the horns on this one and been one of the greater success stories the tribe has had in a long time, in a short period of time. So that is you should be very proud of yourself in that respect, because there's a lot of guys don't make it 5 months, let alone lose 50 pounds in 5 months. So that's really, really cool and exciting to see. And Tyson and I have watched, and it's, and we see you every week at church. So it was really cool to see the actual real-time transformation of Shane Hoyt, as we see you, once a week. And that's enough time to notice those big differences in the changes in you physically. That 7 days, and the next 7 days, it's like, wow, there's another change. And it was exciting to see that. So again, pat yourself on the back, feel really good about that, because this is a big deal. It's not just 50 pounds. It is a huge accomplishment. So congratulations for that.
Well, I'm glad you guys saw it every 7 days. I'm like, dang, man, I'm going to disappoint them again. And knowing that I was going to see you each week, I'm like, man. And if there's any other motivator, it's been that, knowing that, man, I got to be accountable for this. And so that's been a huge thing for me too, is having you guys right there, and the support that I've gotten from you and from Tyson. And so definitely couldn't have done it without you guys.
Well, we try not to be too hard on everybody, but the accountability is a big thing. And you mentioned that word. That is a big, big part of the program. And the guys that take advantage of the accountability part of this and allow it to work have greater success than guys that don't. And that's just, there's empirical data to show us that, right off the bat. And so being open and willing to accept that accountability, that's half the battle right there. So that's another huge bonus for yourself. And another thing I think probably your son is picking up on as well, that aspect of being accountable for this kind of thing. So there's a multiple, effect of what's happening here. And I think that's just fantastic. What was one of the one thing about the program when you first started and you were talking to Tyson that you were like, that doesn't sound good to me. That part of the program there, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. I know you talked about adding more exercise into your day, but what about, the program itself that's worked for you? Were you hesitant about when you were learning about it, if anything?
I don't think there was anything that I was really hesitant, because I'm pretty much I'm self-driven, and I try to push myself in aspects of my life each day. So I did it. I didn't have any weights yet. And he's like, just go up and down the steps. go
Mhm.
slow, then medium pace, and then all out. And that first night, I couldn't make it 15 minutes, and I couldn't walk for 2 weeks after. And I'm not going to make it. I was so discouraged and disappointed with myself. I'm like, wow, I'm done. So that first 2 weeks, I couldn't even I couldn't even walk because I burned my calves and my legs so bad. And so I had to step back and look at it and say, I gotta push myself, but not to the point where I can't function
Right.
for a while. So
Right.
it really made me step back and look, because I'm one that I will always probably overdo it and push it to the max.
Yeah.
And so that was a good thing to learn starting off.
Yeah. And that really plays into that consistency factor. The more consistent you are with those activities, your body adjusts to that. So that soreness and that, because right that first day you freaked your body out. It was like this is absolutely not what Shane does. And so I don't even know what to do with it. And so
and all those poisons in my muscle just froze there. And I was like, dang,
man. And that's what happens. And then the downside is guys will do that and then quit. It's not just the program, but just in general. It's like, I'm going to the gym. It's January 1st. I'm going. And then January 3rd, they're like, I'm never going back again. I can't move. I can't sit. I can't do that. And it's that consistent nature of what we're trying to teach as well. That, over time, your body adjusts to these things and starts to respond to all this stimulus. And so now 5 months later, you're running up and down the stairs is a completely different experience than it was day one. And it's being productive as well. You're not just, we're going through the motions. This is your body is responding to that stimuli. So, if you had done some sort of strength or speed or endurance tests at the beginning, your results right now, just like, if doing blood tests after 5 months of nutrition and exercise, are markedly improved. And you can tell on your biking. If you just used your biking fitness as a measure, I'm sure you're much more comfortable on that bike now than you were 5 months ago.
Absolutely. And I mean, I normally do a section in my subdivision, and now I've added more and more, and I do it in less time. And also I've tried to push myself not to change gears on the hills and stay in that higher gear. And I mean, the first time we'd go, I'd be gassed. I'd come home and I was gasping for air, and now I come home, I'm like, yeah, I could go more.
Yeah.
So that's exciting to see, and that's what pushes you to keep going and doing more. And that's, I just can't tell you how great it's been to be a part of this and know that it's set up for somebody who's, an entrepreneur or whatever, that it's got a lot of commitments and not much time to dedicate to working out.
No, and that's really a key. And I think there's a lot of guys that explore the program and are afraid that I don't have time, and you hear that a lot with guys, that are out of shape. Well, you must have more time than I do. I don't have time to do that. And then here you are in 30 minutes or less, getting that high intensity workout in that's going to burn calories for 2 or 3 hours. And as long as your nutrition's on par, now you can wreck that by eating wrong. And so that's another big part of this as well. But you've obviously not done that. I mean, you've been consistent with your caloric reduction and the quality of foods that you're eating, plus consistent with this exercise and accepting the accountability. And those 3 components have proven to work, fantastic for you. And those are the tenets of the program itself. And we couldn't have a better example of, this is how it's supposed to work. You do these few things, and you don't worry about all the different, little things that you can worry about. Do these basics and it works. What kind of advice might you have for someone exploring the program right now? What if you could share one, genius idea or comment with them, why should they join the tribe?
Well, I think that, you know, if you're halfway motivated to want to change, and then you do these steps and you stay focused, because if I was to go exercise, why would I want to come back in and eat junk food? For me, it's like, you know what, I've done this step, I'm not going to cheat on this step. And having those, everything right there, and having the tools of, you know, protein shakes, intermittent fasting, and some of these other things that have helped really keep me focused and keep me committed. It hasn't been something that's not doable, and that's the greatest thing that it is. And if I can't get up and do it in the morning, I come home and I do it in the evening, and it's, you know, pre-workout a little bit, exercise, I mean, stretch and whatever, and then just hit it for 15 minutes. And I can do that. If I can't, then I shouldn't be doing anything. I'm sitting on the couch eating potatoes and chips, you know.
Have you worked in any strength training into the cardio yet? Is that something that you've been able to do?
I've put that off because my son, he's like, Dad, I don't like doing weights. So we focused on more and more cardio. And that's where I really, in this next, you know, push, I'm really going to push the weights and trying to define now. And I think I'm at a point where it's going to work for me. And so I haven't followed it, you know, to a T, but I've given my best effort by making sure that I'm getting my exercise in, eating right, and making it work for me. Because, you know, if you're not having fun doing it, then it's not going to last.
No, it won't be sustainable. It won't be sustainable. Yeah. You've got to have fun at it. And then, and like with anything else, the weights, you'll have a love-hate relationship with, you know, with lifting weights, like we all do with cardio and whatever. And you found, so you're spending less than 30 minutes on the bike every day. Is that pretty much it? Or are you putting in more time than that?
I'm probably about that, 30 minutes a day, pushing it. Yeah. And I just go as fast as I can. And I come back and
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's important to know, because some guys have a misconception that we're spending, you know, an hour, 2 hours in the gym to get results. And that's not the program. The program is that intermittent fasting and that, you know, 15, 20, 30 minutes worth of high intense exercise some point of the day. And so I'm glad to hear you say that it's not, you know, you're not spending that much more time, though you can. More time in that area will undoubtedly produce more results for us, but the program itself is designed for that short spate of exercise time. So that's another great example for these guys to hear, that you're not out there pounding it for hours, you know, trying to get results that you have achieved. So that's fantastic. We're a little bit past 8 o'clock right now, so I think we'll wrap this up real quick. Shane, thank you so much for spending the time to do this. This has been fantastic watching your transformation and hearing your story in general, and the components that you followed, and some of the advice and information that you shared with the other guys. So we really appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you transform again in your next phase here, because this first phase has been just awesome to watch. So guys, Shane Hoyt, thank you so much. This is the Six Pack Dad Tribe, and we will talk to you again soon. Have a good evening.
Thanks.